let's chat about a weird one, Ultros. Ultros. So it's a game I got in for review for GameSpot. My review's up there. I had not heard of this game until I was offered it, essentially. And then I looked it up and I was like, Metroidvania, got a cool style. The artist on it, Alhevo, did Hotline Miami. So I was like, okay,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So same artist behind Hotline Miami, or one of the artists behind Hotline Miami.
Looks nothing like Hotline Miami, just to be clear.
Does not, no, but it's got a very, very interesting style to it. So the way I can describe this game's look is that it's like,
Drugs.
what if like a biomechanical sort of sensibility, so sort of like Alien, you know what I mean, where a ship is like very fleshy and gross and alive, combined with like a ridiculously strong acid trip, where colors are all vibrant and bright. You've got these neon pinks and greens, and like everything is just in your face and you know, popping out of the screen. That's kind of what this game looks like. And I think it looks phenomenal. It's just really is so distinct and so beautiful. And it does sometimes get in the way of itself, where because there's so much happening on screen, trying to pass what is in the foreground and what's in the background and what's interactable and what's like actually parts of like the main path can sometimes get in the way. But I never found myself like overly frustrated by that. Just like every now and then I'd be like, wow, I'm glad I saw this, because that seems like something I could have missed, and it would have annoyed the shit out of me. But at its core, this is 100% like, or 90% a Metroidvania. You're in this alien ship, which is called the sarcophagus, and it is holding back this like godly evil, and you need to travel to various different biomes to kind of release the barriers to unleashing this evil. And the reason for that is one of the game's other core twists that is introduced about an hour into it, is that this is also like a time loop game. So every time you complete a major objective, the game like restarts. The sarcophagus kind of like kicks in this like security protocol where this evil entity is escaping, and it needs to like reset time to keep it back. And you're essentially trying to escape this time loop because you want to get the fuck off of the ship. So, you know, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? You can decide. The loop is quite interesting though, because it takes you right back to the start, as in you don't have a weapon, you lose all of your upgrades, you lose even all of your core upgrades that you get as part of like the Metroidvania loop, you know, like, you know, your core ability upgrades. And at first it seems a bit frustrating, because it's like, why do I have to spend like 2-3 minutes running back to the same place to get my sword? And why do I have to spend another 10 minutes going back to this place so I can get back my fucking double jump ability? But as the loops go on, you start using these seeds more and more. There's a big like gardening aspect to this game, where there are different types of seeds that can only be planted in certain areas, and they each have different abilities. And when you start understanding those abilities, you can start using them to create, firstly, shortcuts throughout the world, because some seeds will grow like trees that break open barriers that like, you know, completely break open like paths to areas. Some will create like hanging vines that allow you to swing to areas without needing a double jump, or just, you know, omit areas entirely. Others will create these little bushes that give you speed boosts. So you can, if you put them on vertical walls, you can run up walls. If you put them horizontally on the ground, you can now launch yourself forward with a jump, stuff like that. The problem is that some of these seeds take a loop to grow properly. So you have to have the foresight to plant them on a single loop. Like do an objective, loop back, and then you're like, cool, I've opened up all of these places now because I planted these seeds. Where can I explore next? And that sort of balance, that sort of push and pull of like exploration that is governed by your past decisions, is a very clever idea, I think, that makes the otherwise pretty familiar Metroidvania formula, stand out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to get super in depth with that sort of stuff to just beat the game the first time. I think the critical path is pretty loose with how it lets you complete its objectives in various orders. Some areas obviously require certain abilities, as any Metroidvania would. But I didn't feel the need to really, plan out my routes every single loop to finish the game. Where it comes into play is more a optional objective that you only get exposed to, I would say, probably halfway through the experience, which is super, super interesting. I'm not going to talk about what it is, because I think it gives away a lot about how you can play this game far beyond your initial credits roll. I just think it's one of the most interesting ways a Metroidvania has recontextualized its world and reinvigorated its exploration. Think about a game like Hollow Knight, where say you've explored 80% of the map and then you discover something and it's given you a very compelling reason to go and re-explore that map. Completely. Everything you've seen, everything you've picked up on visually, you're like, oh wait, I've seen those things in so many different places. Now I know what they're actually for.
Okay.
It's very, very smart and very clever. And that aspect of the game starts getting very complicated, because at that point you can now control when you want to restart a loop, because you've kind of completed the game. But you need that because you need to plan
your routes,
routes to places so carefully that you need to have a fundamental understanding of how these mechanics work. And there's a lot of depth to this game, and I think it's really, really, really fun.
Nice.
And I think you 100% would love this game.
Doubt.
Yeah.
How long was your...
Even if you're just playing the main path took me about 15 hours.
Okay, that's quite...
it wasn't too bad. But I've been chipping away at the side stuff or the optional stuff, because I want to see what the ending, how the ending changes if I achieve this objective. But it's racking my brain in some parts in a good way. So
that's good though.
Yeah, great little game. It's out on PlayStation and PC.
Damn it seems like
and
perfect
just another surprise. It actually would be great on is it on Switch? I don't think it's on Switch, but it would be great on Switch. I've heard anecdotally that the colors of that game on the Steam Deck OLED look unbelievable.
I'm sure.
So I would
Nintendo
love to
OLED,
see that.
Imagine. Oh.
Nintendo OLED.
Oh, come on.
So that's Ultros. It's rad. You should give it a go if you're interested in those sorts of... Okay. Also, combat that is very juggle focused, and it is very satisfying.
Nice.
You can do this thing where you swipe an enemy up in the air, and then if you launch yourself up in the air and hit them, it will pause in midair, and you can aim where you want to launch them down to another enemy, and you can keep juggles going that way.
That's cool.
Real good. Real
nice. Good. Sounds like a good time.